Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to My Little Pony Friendship is Tragic. Imagine a My Little Pony Infection AU inspired by Uzumaki, House of Leaves, and drenched in body horror, both disturbing and strangely beautiful. Sound interesting? Good, because obviously that's what this video is about. You guys seem to really enjoy my video about Divine Swamp Fever, and when I say really enjoy, I mean that it did better faster than any other video I've ever posted to this channel. And I've been running this channel now for years, so as of my writing this script, it's at like 500,000 views in less than 2 weeks, and I don't know, it's kind of scary. Y'all are scaring me a little, but I cannot thank you enough. I'm really happy that you were entertained, and it's really cool to see all of you new guys, gals, and non-binary pals who went and made all of my other videos start doing better too. So welcome in, hello, hi, good to see you. A quick aside, but at the beginning of this year, I made a video and opened with the guys, gals, pals line, and the number of angry comments being like, I'm never watching this channel again. It has taught me that it's a powerful litmus test to keep the community safer, almost like a spell. I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. I digress though. Let's talk about magic for a minute. Specifically, chaos magic. Someone in the comments of the Swamp Fever video recommended Heart of Chaos, a graphic novel Infection AU living on Tumblr created by artist Gore G, kind of like a play on gore and gorgeous. So let's get into it. Everything begins not that long ago, in July of 2025, where we saw this post emerge on Tumblr. Fluttershy wanders, carrying a disembodied or severed head in a satchel on her flank. The head is Twilight, or what's left of her, spirals in her eyes, forehead, and her horn curving into a twisted spiral before wisping off into nothing. Some might think this transformation isn't fair. Not playing fair? Perhaps we haven't met. Fluttershy, immune. I forget what it's like to dream. Nothing is the same anymore. Everything is so different. I miss the birds. We're almost there, Twilight is now a magical amulet of harmony. She keeps chaotic creatures at bay and minds clear. Possible cure to the curse? Semi-lucid, she still talks to me sometimes. Taste the stars. It says that Fluttershy is immune, which is a nice thought, but unfortunately the next panel kind of recontextualizes what immune actually means. Pinkie Pie, immune? Has gained many more mouths on her tongue. Pinky sense has kept her and many others alive. Keeps frothing cotton candy. Oddly seems lighter. Pinky is still Pinky. I'm relieved. She doesn't seem to be entirely bothered despite the changes. She's convinced that this can be fixed. Twitchy tail. Pinkie Pie seems to be having a decidedly wonderful time, despite, of course, the slight issue with her tongue. Let's not overly dwell on that, though. But to call her immune really makes one wonder what Fluttershy will eventually go through. What good does being immune do if you still end up like that, you know? Let me stop for 1 second to say eventually we are going to get more concrete story beats that move a plot along, but for now, when the series was just kind of getting revved up, we get the privilege of basking in more gorgeous art. Chaos creatures, otherwise known as the Cursed. This thing is nuts, dude. Ever since the chaos spread in Ponyville, no pony has been able to keep sane. The longer ponies are around the incomprehensible nature of Discord's work, they just start muttering nonsense under their breaths and become a part of the new environment. Not even dreams are safe anymore. Nothing is safe anymore. They keep making weird noises. Poor Bon Bon. I'm sorry. Honk, meow, bark, bark. All right. I see what's going on here. You guys just wanted me to cover this one because it makes me say meow and bark, bark and honk. And I know how much you guys like clowns. The cursed can range from dangerous to benign. They never really bothered me, but they can't die. Oh, Jesus. I've seen so many ponies just tear them to pieces, but the parts just become their own animal. I can't even begin to write down just how much that alone has broken several minds. Siblings, I think? They're aggressive, but clumsy. Something that I love about the series is the departure from typical disturbing and horrifying and excessively dark imagery, and instead we focus on the bizarre, the strange. It's bright, it's colorful, almost overstimulating, and the colors swirl as body parts mix and match into each other, each aberration more disconcerting than the next. An eye duplicating itself down the face, almost beyond recognition as something of this world, until you see the single tear flowing down its face, unable to communicate with words, just mindless babble and screaming. Yet that tear rolling down tells us something. It tells us plenty. The mental anguish of watching your body turn into something foreign to you, which is something it's become a pretty staple topic on this channel. There's no real rhyme or reason in how they turn. You just hope it's harmless. How? How is that harmless? The next post reveals a notebook full of meticulously drawn images of the main six. Well, at least most of them. We can see Fluttershy's hoof on one of the pages, and the actual wording implies this is her notes. I'm getting the idea that Fluttershy is the primary character, or protagonist, of this AU, and for some reason she seems significantly less affected by the infection than any of her fellow ponies are. She is piecing together what happened and where her precious friends are. Only Applejack in particular is nowhere to be seen. Twilight Sparkle. Status, cursed but stable. We used her tail hairs for the rope. Handy. Horn is severely affected. Can do magic but is unpredictable. Spiral scares me. Harmony stones seem to keep the curse at bay. Halts furthering progress. Possible cure? She screamed at me to take this vial before she turned. I have to ask her about it. And we learn more about that later. Don't break it. Oh, is that what's become of the rest of her body? That's crazy. Pinkie Pie. Status, also cursed, stabled, thanks to Twilight. That's me. I guess she's drawing on this too. Keep getting tummy aches. She seems like she keeps vomiting. Tongue touched the chocolate rain. And she says no regrets. That makes sense. That's cool. That fits her character. Laughter Stone is safe. She has so many mouths now. She talks through all of them, but it's hard to hear. Still can write, you know. Streamer hooves. Weird. Oh, Celestia, she jumps so high now. Whee! Pinky's still Pinky. I'm relieved. Then we've got Fluttershy. Status is I'm fine for now. Angel, I think. Oh well, you're free now. You look happy. Damn, that kind of sucks. At least Angel seems okay. Reminder, look for the cockatrice. It's been so hard to sleep. I don't dream anymore. My mane is not immune, apparently. They move. Nature's entropy. What does it mean? The next one's kind of nuts. It's a page about Rarity, but it kind of feels like Rarity corrupted the page. It's very strange. Rarity status. Cursed? Blessed. Next to hold your heavy crown, raise that chin. Don your jewels on an endless body. A chest must carry treasure. Know this, rarities are adorned. You are beautiful. Celestia's sake, how long is she? Don't look at her for too long. Mirrors are safe. Rainbow Dash, status cursed. Forever exploding. Oh, this one's really gnarly. No noise. She's so quiet. Say something. Dash is so quiet. She keeps bumping into things. Found near orchards. That's Applejack's lasso. Where are you? And remember, Applejack is missing. Why are you so quiet? I swear I can feel you screaming. I'm so sorry. We found a few, except for one. We need to get a hold of the Harmony Stones and fast, or at least a cockatrice. I don't know how much longer the others can take the madness. It needs to be stopped one way or another. Okay, those pages set up what happened to the main 6 for the most part, and now we get to a mini doc that describes the setup for the story in detail, and I'm going to read that to you now. It's been months since Fluttershy got into a pretty serious scuff with her friends. A pretty big explosion coming from the animal specialist as Ponyville heard it. Whispers of a wedding gone wrong, friends gone sour, and a Pegasus gone into complete social isolation. Barely even went to town for groceries. What little did the humble town know. She was tired of seeing scowling, judgmental faces, fully convinced that she can never truly blend into the crowd. Fluttershy was going into her own depressive spiral, completely cutting herself out of the picture to protect her already very fragile heart, foraging off the land and fraternizing with critters that she knows can never hurt her, happy to just live with herself and become her own zoo animal, caged in her home. That was until her eye spotted it, a seemingly growing mark on her precious bunny's leg, a new, strange pattern practically painted onto his fur. It looked garish, but oddly natural, as if he grew it himself. No matter how many washes it took, she could only groan and mutter curses under her breath, realizing that she had to go to the vet. Eyeing at the door with disdain, unhappy to leave her sanctuary, cooing at her precious rabbit to hop in her bag and ignore all the piled letters outside her home. Thus, an odd beginning of noticing cracks in the seam. Her habitual pony watching made her realize a continuing, growing pattern of subtle spirals growing under their coats, an abnormal friendliness. Laughter suddenly sounds sinister, extra limbs and eyes and impossible environments, maybe an alley that shouldn't be there. Surely she was going a little insane. An off day turned into a troubled night, and she decided to scurry through the letters to ease her mind, rolling her eyes at all the half-assed apologies she had been receiving, only really feeling a slight twinge in her heart when she saw a package made by the baby dragon Spike, giving her a gem to enjoy. Looks like a lizard, huh? I chewed it myself. Knots in her stomach. Picturing the idea of a frantic Twilight pleading with her sibling to give dear old Fluttershy a gift, knowing they were nothing more than just associates. She couldn't help but really mull over the idea of, well, returning for a dragon checkup. Is it rude to come over unannounced after so many months of silence? She did say she was in Canterlot for a project, yeah? After a day of contemplating and checking through the golden oak windows to see that there was indeed a substitute librarian taking over, really enjoying a new book, hacking her lungs out coughing, she set her path towards visiting Twilight, which ended up in screams and a talking head. And that's kind of where we are, but we are going to get into the weeds of that background as well. A pandemic has spread, a curse of chaos thought to be the work of Discord, and Twilight seemed to have found a way to halt the progress, despite being ahead, barely coherent in her speech, and she gave a message that only Fluttershy can fix this, for whatever reason. Traveling all across Equestria in search of her friends and the Harmony Stones, she has to cross impossible terrains, reason with creatures gone mad, and find the heart of the problem, with the only clue being a sample of chaos blood. The girls will fix it as they always do, just not with solutions that they might like, and that's kind of the tagline for the series. So now maybe you understand why I chose this as the next My Little Pony AU I wanted to cover. Fluttershy and Discord, my beloved favorites from the show, appear to be central to the plot, and also just all the Uzumaki references are fantastic. Now, as we've seen, the affliction causing body parts to mutate and even start functioning independently from each other. Is there a way to stop the curse? Well, I found a conversation between the Twilight Head and assumedly Fluttershy that kind of answers that question. It's taken out of context, but here it is. So this one's Twilight. She says, well, it's just a theory that the fragmented are somewhat connected to their pieces, like puppet strings. Yeah, that's a good example. Like really scattered puppet strings. It's how I still live, and, well, I wouldn't say breathe, but I feel it in my ribs on occasion. And then Fluttershy responds, okay, I never want to hear that again. Ever. Please? Well, you asked. The idea is that once this is all over, they'll merge back together. You still like jigsaws, right? And now we get to the first real plot-driven section, so buckle up, because this part's really good. Canterlot Castle, 4 moons after hexing. Fluttershy, with dark, weary circles under her eyes, wanders the castle. Whether aimlessly milling about or with some inexplicable purpose, we aren't told. The guards pass behind her. Suddenly, she seems racked with pain and jolts, feathers springing up and ruffling around. Her pupils dilate in shock, and she frantically turns around, seemingly to see if anyone saw her outburst, or maybe to figure out what caused the reaction. 3 guards are behind her, and they appear unfazed. Then one turns slightly, looking at her with mild disdain, before opening and distending, one might even say elongating, his mouth, which drools, and his eyes pop and strain to jut out on either side. But most disconcerting of all is the miniature version of him that crawls out of the mouth where the tongue should be to wave and smile at her. Then, as if nothing happened, his mouth snaps back shut, and he winks at her, leaving her unable to tell if what she just saw was even real. Now, Fluttershy is understandably on edge, sweat beading on her brow, eyes darting back and forth, skin prickling intensely, a mild tremor through her body and voice. Suddenly, a voice shouts out, "Celestia's sake, leave me alone!" and her ears twitch. She knows that voice. Slowly, she turns her head to find Twilight is galloping towards her, followed quickly behind by a rumbling crowd of horses giving chase, begging for help, some kind of cure. You'll notice Twilight already has strange spiral formations in her skin. As Fluttershy screams, the guards shove past her in response to Twilight beckoning them forward to protect her against the desperate mob forming behind her. Bumping into Fluttershy unfortunately pushes her to the ground, her chin slamming into the hard stone floor. She's lucky she didn't break something. The guards form a sort of shield wall to protect their charges. One hoof nearly breaks through, but thankfully they manage. Until his eyes go wide as his brothers put such effort into upholding the magic. Purple snot runs down from his left nostril as the spiral appears in the milky whites of his eyes. He turns to the other guard, who looks back in horror. It comes swiftly now. So pluck your worth from the highest peak. Acquire the taste of failure. There's no turning back now. His eyes have green goo bubbling up from within the socket. Screams as horrible transformations take place. The guard stabs one of the ponies in the eye through the door, and they clap a hoof over it. Green goo dripping down like a disgusting mucus. Fluttershy, bruised and battered, but otherwise okay, looks back to Twilight to gently ask, "What?" To which she simply responds, "Hi, it's been a while." She holds up a bottle with her magic. They're all just apparently ignoring the violence that has just taken place. "So I'm so sorry to cut this short, but I'm so busy right now. So as a quick favor, can you hold this for me?" "Thanks," she yells. "Now catch," and tosses the vial. Okay, something that I personally love about this art in particular, this artist, the way that they portray these characters, is just how expressive each panel is. I guess that's pretty normal for graphic novels. I don't really read a lot of comics and graphic novels, so it was just cool noticing it being already familiar with the characters. Like the dialogue and the character moments ring true for the characters' actual personalities and how they interact with each other on the show. Like, "I'm so sorry to cut this short, but I'm so busy right now. As a quick favor, can you hold this?" Like I can hear that in Twilight's voice. And then this next panel, we see Fluttershy grapple with the vial, bouncing it precariously back and forth between her hooves before finally slapping her wings shut around it. Very in character, this artist does a really good job of bringing the scenes to life with only a very few brief panels. She calls after Twilight, "Wait, what do you mean?" And Twilight only responds, "Just take it," seemingly in a lot of pain, her body contorting. Text around her reads, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, implying that there are intrusive or evil or bad things being like beamed into her brain. She collapses to the floor, starting to say something, and then suddenly a burst of color, her horn unraveling as purple fire bursts forth from her ripping open jaw, the flames searing her flesh and shocking her as her bloodshot eyes glare wide. The spirals in her neck pulse out like veins as she screams, "Stay calm!" "Oh," she whispers as her head rolls back and forth. The others continue harassing Twilight as she tries to get to her study. And she says, "Not now, I'll summon you later." And they're like, "But Miss Sparkle, what do we do? Don't you understand that I am ill?" She tells them to stay away, then manages to use her teleport spell, appearing back in the study, surrounded by scrolls, books, and literally no useful information. And now we get to watch the beginnings of her losing her mind, or her head, so to speak. Quickly, with purple blood running down as her neck contorts and writhes, she straps a belt around herself and pulls it tight, grimacing from the pain and then drinking some kind of potion. A cut-off feeling of joy. Imploring herself to think of a joke, she looks to a jar full of blue blooms, one eye already lost to the spiral. Why did you do that? Meanwhile, let's see what the guards are doing. That wasn't... You... What? You're dismissed. Snap. What? Oh my god, that's so cool, dude. I'm not sure, but it almost seems like Discord has possessed the one guard, because why else? I mean, I guess except maybe Bill Cipher, who else would have the ability to snap and then have stuff like that happen? The slow cone boring a hole out of his jelly pupil and then turning into a sort of like drill as it came out was Lovecraftian body horror at its finest. Then the body exploding into miniature versions of him with the eyes rolling away like bowling balls and organs blowing in the wind like confetti. All of it at the same time just being so pretty, dude. God, it's so good. It's really good. After this point, there's a bunch of fun, random character stuff, world building, fun, happy times for the traumatized among us, kind of as a palate cleanser. For example, Discord took the sanity in the divorce. Celestia said there was importance in really letting out your emotions during tough times. Twilight is a good listener, but seldom able to give good reassurance, especially in this state. Then we have, does Pinky stick around Fluttershy to help her out? If I start growing a third eye, it's your fault. Pinky is more than happy to stick around her good friend Fluttershy. With one being immune while the other seems to be thriving in the chaos, there is no stopping the ragtag team in stopping Discord in his reign. Twilight also gets breaks, which is good. Oh, this is cool. Here the artist shows some of the major inspirations to her work alongside comparison examples. First we have Uzumaki, which is pretty obvious. Darkwood, you are one ugly mare. I guess you got what you deserved. Annihilation, not cool. There's even a reference to Paprika, and another kind of obvious one that I didn't think of at first was House of Leaves. And then here we get some amazing art of humanized Discord and Fluttershy engaging in rather salacious... Is that how you pronounce that? Seductive activities, smooching and whatnot. I particularly love this panel where he erupts into chaos as she kisses him, as his expression directly before is very primal, fits the character. Why are your eyes wide open while kissing, though? She laughs at his transformation, asking if he feels okay, and he just responds, wow. They are adorable, fantastic. And while I adore the concept, and I love the series so far, you might have noticed the video's almost over. That's actually pretty much everything that we have so far that isn't over on Patreon, which is mainly more concept art. Are you sad about that and also hooked like me at this point? Because if so, I believe that we can make this happen and make it continue. At least I think we can. I'm trying to utilize my very limited influence to try to get a series more attention so that the creator is encouraged to keep going forever. The artist has a Tumblr and a Patreon page. You should follow the Tumblr, check out the other posts and the other art she's made. It's all very cool. But more importantly, if you love it and you have the means to, you should support her on Patreon. I know from experience that having a few patrons can literally be the difference between continuing a project or not. as an artist. As I always say, we are Legion, and one of the defining traits of the Legion, as it were, is to support independent artists. We are like cryptid patron saints appearing to give dark power and support, you know. Links to everything will be down below in the description of this video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name was and continues to be Daniel Profeta. This is also my wife's first time editing. So say hi to her, tell her that she did a good job. Well, not her first time, but the first time in a long time. Tell her she did a good job. Tell me what other weird internet stuff you'd like to see me cover, and I will see you in the next transmission. Also, huge thank you to my enablers over on Patreon. I would be unable to do this without you, so I appreciate it. Welcome in Constance Carlson, Birch, Nervous, and Ruadoodle. And thank you Kira, AJ, Dark Beast, Bile, Coyote, Cuba, Bat Noise, Phoenix, Bees, Joy, Amelia, Boris, Panflute, Thomas, Audrey, Justin, Lou, Tom, Dave, Elkie, Stardrop, Nude, George, Joseph, Mr. Fox, JK, Kyojin, Drarko, Geek, Lori, Aprils, Kira's, Danny, Paperclip, Linty, Bug, Juno, Joe, Delphi, and Capulet.